Greetings, welcome to you. I am Shoshana, and today we're going to be doing a pick a card reading for our recovering alcoholics. These are the piles. Dun 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 dun. We have pile 1 is green, pile 2 is magenta, pile 3 is turquoise. Pile 4 is orange. And I've never done this before. And I'm nervous. I always get nervous before I do pick a card readings. I have no idea why. I just do. So I have your lovely, lovely pre-shuffled piles. And I took a photograph of the actual pile so you can intuitively choose your lovely pile. So, as I said, my name is Shoshana. I only use medicine cards and positive approved energy cards. I do not use tarot. I do not use negative symbols. I do not channel. I do not search for downloads. I am a scanner and a diagnoser. Okay, so my channel mostly focuses on people who want to progress spiritually and energetically. I try not to focus on love or codependency information in my readings, but if it comes up, I will let you know. So, who is my first pile? Pile, if you chose the green highlighter, this is your pile. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a reading on each pile, and then after I'm done with your pile, we're going to do an animal omen. These are my homemade cards that my daughter helped me make, and I helped her paint them. And then we're going to use a beautiful, what color should you energetically be using during this time? The question is, how are you doing in your recovery? So let me put all these piles to the side and get started with pile 1. Let me just write down the time that I'm actually starting the reading. Okay, so let's turn them over. So how do you want to do this? Do you want me to show them to you, or do you want me to put them down on the screen? Or should I just put them all out and then tell you what I see? Should I start this way? Ooh, what is that? Let's start this way. Okay, beyond death and life. This pile is currently thinking about what is beyond this. What is beyond this life? What is beyond this matrix? What is beyond this assimilation? What is beyond this evil? What is beyond this container? What is beyond this hologram? This pile has a lot of knowledge, and you feel like you cannot use your knowledge because of all this darkness in the world, because of the masses that have a low IQ. A lot of times during your addictions, you use that as an excuse. Well, no one can hold an intelligent conversation with pile 1. So I'm just gonna binge. I'm gonna binge. I'm going to drink my worries away, my frustrations away. And that is the excuse that you gave yourself. You drank for a long time. This pile drank heavily. This pile. So just because these are alcoholic readings, it does not mean that it's not for drug addicts. I might title it something different. I might title it Addicts in Recovery Pick a Card Reading, because I'm already picking up drugs and overdosing where you almost died. This pile, some of it will apply to you, some of you won't. Just like when you're shopping at a store, some apples will be in your basket and other apples are for other people. That's how this reading is going to go. If there's something that I'm sharing that doesn't have to do with you, it has to do with another individual that has to hear this. This pile survived almost dying from alcohol poisoning or overdosing. And you didn't quit because you wanted to. You quit because you had to. And unfortunately, in this world of addiction and recovery, that is 99% of the reason why any addict quits, is because they have to, not because they wanted to. They had to because they were tired of ending up in the hospital. They have to be there for their children. They're court ordered, mandated by their job. So now that you are in recovery, you feel so much better, but there's this loneliness that you feel because when you were using, everybody was around you, right? Everybody was around you. Everybody was buying you drinks. Everybody was giving you gifts. And what happens? What happens as soon as you quit? You got to realize all those friendships that you have to cut off. You can't be friends with those people. You can't talk to those people. You have to just disconnect from all of your friends one by one. All those friends that you consumed with. So now you have all this knowledge, and dealing with isolation and lonely issues. You're extremely emotional. You feel like there's a flood that goes through you. Express the ocean of your emotions. So if you're feeling really emotional, write a song, write a poem, paint a picture, get back into hobbies, fix your car, do something. Don't just sit there with your emotions, because when you sit there with your emotions, it becomes a temptation. And you want to do something with that emotion. You can transmute that emotion to creativity. So all negative emotions can be transmuted and recycled. You don't have to just clear it. You can actually use that. You can actually stick it into a container and turn it into something else. So when you are feeling like emotional and you're sitting there and you're like crying for hours or just emotional for hours, do something with that emotion. Take that emotion and put it in, turn it into lithium so it becomes a charger. So now you have this battery of lithium that you put in there through so much emotions. You put all your emotions and turned it into lithium. Now you start thinking, okay, well, I have a hobby that I never finished. I forgot to varnish. I forgot to paint. I forgot to use primer. I stopped doing it the other day because I lost my motivation. You take your lithium and you click it in, and now you have motivation. You have motivation charged, and now you can get back into your hobbies. And then as you're doing your hobbies, you will realize that the emotions are bringing motivation, creativity, and energy to your hobbies. So now your hobbies have been uplifted so well that in the future you're going to want to look for emotion, and you're going to realize that emotion can be transformed into art. You don't have to just sit there with it. Let's say it's in the middle of the night. In the middle of the night, you can't sleep and you're just crying, crying, and crying. You put all those tears in a container. You're like, you know what? I don't have time to be transmuting. I want to sleep. I want to just put all of my tears in a container and save that for energy for later, because it's really late at night. And so then the next morning, you have a container filled with tears. And you're like, I need energy to get so and so done. Let's turn those tears into energy. And then when you get the results for whatever that you do, it becomes multiplied because you put your tears into it. Okay, let's continue on. Make a decision. Don't be afraid to make that choice in a seemingly choiceless situation. Just because something seems like you don't have a say does not mean that your say does not matter, okay? Just because someone hasn't asked you a question doesn't mean that you can't answer it. Take the first step and great opportunities will emerge for you and those involved. Trust that every road is a route to your destiny. Believe in yourself, okay? So let's say this is just an example. You have to choose between two friends or two dates, but you're waiting for those two friends or those two dates to ask you the question. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for their answer. You can choose which friend do you want to keep, which friend do you want to cut off, which date do you want to block, which date do you want to marry. Make the decision yourself. And by you making that decision, you bring that decision closer to you. But if you allow yourself to be undecisive in any aspect of your life, you are attracting uncertainty and lack of consistency. Where in your life do you need to go with the flow more? Where in your life are you going against the current? And then we have the beautiful clear quartz. So there's something here that is very, you allowed a divine intervention to take place in your life. And that is your blessing. That is your prosperity. That is the abundance that you will eventually have in regards to emotional satisfaction, which you do not feel now, but you will. But it's just not happening right now. The higher vibration that somebody is, the higher vibration that somebody is, the more resistance they're going to experience, the more low vibrational people they're going to attract like magnets. So take it as a compliment. If low vibrational people are attracted to this pile like moths to a flame, where you will have drinkers always wanting to be around you because they just love your light, but they don't realize that your light came from detoxing. It came from a divine intervention. They don't understand that this light came from staying the fuck away from evil. Sorry, but you were tormented. This pile was tormented, and it was that torment that made you finally quit. Okay, so we have going the distance. There seems to be a situation in your life that you need to flee from, escape from, go overseas, go to a different city, different house, different job, different relationship. There's something you have to run for your life from. Okay, so let's put your little pile to the side. What in your life do you want to amplify? You have wisdom, you have power. Where do you want to amplify that arrow in your life? Do you want to amplify something in your career? Do you want to transform something in your relationships? You have an opportunity to amplify a certain aspect of your life and take it all with you. So, if let's say it's your education, you want to go to a school in a different country. By you amplifying that area in your life, which for some, as an example, would be education, getting a scholarship, a scholarship for a different country at a different school will take you away from a toxic environment or situation or circumstance that you're facing right now. So the reason why you feel surrounded by all this darkness is because you have to leave something. Okay. Let's move on to your animal omen for this pile. And you know what? Let me see here if there's something that I missed. Because sometimes these have so much significance that I can miss even one little word that I want to make sure you get. Harmony, meditation, protection, infinite possibilities. Clear quartz can be programmed with whatever qualities you desire. For just like you, this crystal is full of infinite possibilities. Okay, so let's move on to your animal omen. These little round cards here. I didn't get to completely finish them because I ran out of varnish, but anywho. Pile green. What is the animal omen for pile green? So where you are in your recovery is needing to get away from a certain circumstance or situation that is keeping you in the dark, that is keeping you feeling triggered because where you are, whatever the circumstance is, it's intentionally there to cause you to relapse. Do you know what I mean? So it's something that you have to do something about, and you can't allow the negative situation to continue. So we have the bat, and this is exactly what we were just talking about. A negative situation, a negative relationship, a negative person. And we have the octopus. So we have the bat and the octopus that are telling you to be careful of traps in your life, pile one. Be careful of traps. Be careful of hidden enemies. Be careful of spiritual hidden enemies. Be careful of spiritual and energetic traps that want to lure you to relapse. Last but not least, let's do colors. What color does pile one need to incorporate more in their life or use? And we have lemon. Access innovative thinking. Somebody here might be 23 years old. If you're having weight issues or digestive issues, every morning drink hot water with a lemon. You boil some water and you pour it in a mug and you squeeze lemon into it. That is the best that you can do for your digestive in the morning. Drinking cold water shocks your digestive system. So if you have cold water in the morning, that will make your stomach hurt. Okay, so let's move on to pile two. And we have the magenta. Okay, let me just write it down real quick. We have pile magenta. It's so funny because I don't get nervous for astrological readings, but I get nervous for pile readings. I don't know why. Maybe because it's a surprise and it's like, ooh. Okay, so the first one that we have is the cosmic heart. Let me just put this down a little bit. Okay, I guess I can't. So we have the cosmic heart. This pile is extremely loving and bubbly. Loving, bubbly, and that is your downfall, is being a pushover and people just trampling all over you, taking you for granted, throwing you falsehood, you know, where they can smile at you, but really they're throwing you evil eye. Next we have burning with passion. This pile is burning with passion, whether that is sexually or ambitiously. I actually believe that it's both your career and your entrepreneurship mentality, as well as your sexual needs, are burning with passion to the point where you can't take it anymore. It reminds me of a boiling hot pot of water and the lid is on and it's boiling and smoking and rumbling and going crazy and the lid is just out of control and wobbling around and about to explode. And there's all this hot steam and humidity and mist. What happens when you allow that to keep going? When you allow that to keep going in a house, all the windows are closed, your pot is boiling, the lid is on, it creates steam, it creates density, it creates humidity, it creates moisture. So this pile is, I don't want to say dangerous. I don't want to say dangerous, but you're in a danger zone. You're in a danger zone. This pile is also dealing with just being deprived of not having an individual match your energy, your passion, your needs. For some of you in this pile, you've never had that your entire life. You've been teased with lust. You've been abused by narcissists. You might have narcissistic parents. Be mindful of the thoughts you are ingesting. So this pile needs to be very careful with believing the baloney. You are constantly getting the evil eye thrown at you. It is sickening. Like, I honestly, you are constantly getting the evil eye thrown at you. All you want to do is work. All you want to do is serve. All you want to do is come home at the end of your shift. And when you come back from your shift, you come with all these people's energy, all these people's envy, hatred, smiles. You know that someone can even give you an evil eye while smiling at you, straight at your face? Resist dependency. So because of that, this group has a hard time staying sober. This group has a hard time feeling adequate, worthy to be sober or to stay sober. And it's very important for you to see the snake. Do you see the snake? There's a snake up there saying, ha ha, we succeeded in making this pile feel like utter garbage. We succeeded in making you want to drink because you feel like, what is the use? That is exactly what the enemy and your haters wanted you to do. So take this and transmute it to power. More power for you, more energy for you. And the little residuals that do not want to be transmutated, you take those little shreds, because these little shreds will fall off and say, we don't want to be transmuted. Well, you take them and you turn them to these microscopic ninja stars, and you throw them back to the sender. You throw them back to the sender. You throw them back to the sender. So now the sender has been hit with these microscopic ninja stars that refuse to be transmuted. But you took all the hatred, you took all the envy, you took all the jealousy, you took all of that energy and turned it to power. Now you have even more power. And now your shield and your armor, God's full body armor, is now thicker. Because when haters hate, they're actually blessing you, because they're giving you their power. They're giving their energy away to you by hating on you, by trolling on you, by envying you for no reason, just because you're a loving rainbow that makes them feel like a bottomless pit black hole when they're next to you. You staying sober will make you be the boss winner. Okay? So we talked about that one. When someone loves, it's easy. It's easy to love. Love just slips right out. It is part of our human nature to be loving on default. When you hate, it requires more energy. So that's why there's that saying that your haters secretly love you, because they're circling around you a lot more times than a regular person that loves you. A regular person that loves you is just going to see you, love you. So you could love the collective. I can send my love to the collective. I can send my love to humanity. It's easy. But to target an individual for no reason and put all your hate and evil eye, jealousy, whatever, to them, you are using a lot more of your energy. And depending on how that person's level is whether or not your negative vibration will hurt them or if it will ricochet. If you are trying to send evil eye or negative thoughts towards a child of God, it will ricochet and you will lose an eye. You will lose an eye. This pile's enemies will lose an eye trying to hurt this pile. Okay. We have kyanite. I'm going to read from the book because this one, you know that there are so many stones. Do you realize that there's a lot more stones than you think? If you research organic vegetables or organic fruits, we had thousands more of fruits and vegetables that you could ever wrap your head around. And what we have left are the scraps, the last of the last of the last that was left. And it's the same way with crystals. There used to be so many more, and there's still so many. But if you really, really research crystals, you will find that there are so many, and their healing properties are so particular. They're so specific and detailed. Intuition, ideas, dreams. Pay attention to your intuition and your dreams over the coming days, for you are being guided towards deeper spiritual understanding and insight. Through this process, much of which occurs on a subconscious level or in your dream state, a rather ingenious idea will surface that will radically change your views on life, particularly your career. Okay, so pay attention to any epiphany moments that you might have during this time. Okay, moving along, we have the ghost card. There's some aspect of you that you refuse to look at. And I think it has to do with you feeling like you deserve to be satisfied. It's like you're suppressing yourself. You're blocking yourself by thinking that you do not deserve to be satisfied sexually and in your career. You deserve both. So stop making excuses saying, oh, I am an exception. I am an exempt. I'm exempt. I'm exempt from career and sexual satisfaction. Don't do that to yourself because I can see that you do that. It's important for you to look in the mirror and say, I am deserving of being satisfied in my career. I am deserving of being satisfied in my romantic and physical life. Okay? There are parts of you that you don't want to face, that you are ashamed of. And it's important for you to look at those parts of yourself that you are ashamed of and realize that they're probably lies, such as depression. Oh, I'm so depressed. Maybe depression is a lie. It's 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 a lie, okay? If this pile is depressed, or anybody for the matter, depression is actually your body telling you that you need to reset, that you need to rest, that you need to lay in your comfy bed and do nothing. Just roll around all day, have tea, have snacks, and get back into bed and roll around, close your eyes, have, whatever playing in the background that makes you feel relaxed. Anxiety oils like these little guys, these are excellent for people who have issues with anxiety or insomnia or lack of motivation. You purchase top quality oils that don't have chemicals, that help you with anxiety, that help you sleep. You put the oil here, you mix it with water, and you just have this going on in the background. Make sure you to have your windows open and make sure that when you buy the candles that you're buying the chemical free kind, and pamper yourself. When you have depression, it doesn't mean that nothing is wrong with you. My God, why does this pile think that something is wrong with you because you're depressed? No. No, it just means that you need to have a self spa day. Okay? And if there's people home and you can't avoid it, just let them know. I feel like crap today. Don't bother me. Don't knock on my door. And barricade yourself in your room with teas, you know, ginger ale, and you will see the depression subside. So, really, depression is a lie. Depression is a lie. Depression is just your body saying that it needs to rest. Now, if you continue to be tired and you continue to feel fatigue, no matter how much you rest, you don't feel rested, that means that there's another additional underlining issue that's going on that is either dietary or paranormal. And you need to clear the dietary and paranormal issues to try to obtain that restful sleep that you need to not feel depressed. Some people have neurological imbalances where depression is a side effect, but for the most part, depression is a lie. It just means that you're tired. Okay, we have a never ending story. You feel like something in your life is a never ending story. Whenever you feel that your life or the negativity in your life or the things that pester you or the toxicity in a relationship dynamic, whenever you feel that something is a never ending story, it is important for you to be honest with yourself. Be honest with whether or not this is something that you asked for. A lot of times I'm fascinated by human psychology. I went to school for psychology, environmental science, and administration of justice. And the thing that fascinates me about psychology is that a lot of the things that we complain about, we asked for, we manifested, we attracted at a subconscious level. Okay? So if you feel like there's a never ending story, where can you be more honest with yourself about what you allowed to loop in your life? Because there's negative agenda loops and then there's the loops that you allow. Let's move on to animal omens and what color you should incorporate more in your life. Okay, from the animal omen deck, So mainly pile 2. Oh, this is the animal omen deck, but it also has a couple non-animals in it. So there's a couple cards that are not technically animals. Maybe I will call it Nature's Omens better. Nature's Omens. How about that? Where this pile is in their recovery is putting an end to it. Taking a sword and cutting something at the root and beating it down, burning it to ashes so that there is no residual of that root. What is that root? That root is allowing people to remove your motivation. People are not stupid. People are not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. You know, even the atheists. My channel is not for atheists, but even the atheists know what they're doing. And they see this pile as talented, making sure that there's no roots. Sometimes the other roots will try to go underneath and join other roots, and you have to cut those too. And then he'll try to seed, and you have to clear the seeds because he'll try to put seeds everywhere, even in the air like a dandelion. It's crazy. They'll look at you and they'll say, pile 2 is talented at dang near everything. I'm going to attack their motivation. And it's like even people who are not spiritually aware throw darts at this pile to attack your motivation. So where you are in your recovery is not allowing anybody to scoop out any of your motivation. Your motivation stays with you. Your motivation stays with you. Okay? From the Nature's Omen, we have frankincense and myrrh. Needing to smudge your house with frankincense and myrrh because people have been sending negative thoughts your way every time they see you. Okay? Because unfortunately, we live in a world that is infested with haters, really miserable haters, low vibrational haters. Okay? And my readings are not for you. If you're a hater, my channel is not for you. My channel will actually hurt you if you're a hater. So, and it will hurt you with your own devices. Okay. So we have frankincense and myrrh. You needing to smudge your home. The best way to use frankincense and myrrh, you can buy frankincense and myrrh incense, but it's not really as preferred as the traditional way with the black piece of coal. You get a black little coal and you put that on heat safe plate and you wait for the coal to get hot and smoky and orange, and then you put your frankincense and myrrh and you start with the back of the house. You do all 4 corners. You come to the front. Simultaneously as you do this, you can throw salt to each corner of each room. You could put salt under the beds. And then when you go out your house and open the front door, you throw salt outside. And you finish out there in the entrance, okay? Last but not least, what colors does this pile need to incorporate more in their life? Another thing I'm getting pulled to tell this pile, if you are an advanced person in recovery, because we have the beginners and the advanced. If we have the advanced people in this group, I got distracted by this color. Let's see if I can remember what I was going to say. I got distracted by the beauty of this rose. Attract a relationship. So this pile is ready for a relationship with another sober individual that will help protect this pile. You and your person, because I feel like you already kind of have somebody in mind, are going to help protect each other and help clear and watch each other's backs, clear and watch each other's blind spots. The next person that you get into a commitment with, you're going to be each other's blind spot checkers and clearers and be an extremely powerful couple. Gosh, what is it that I wanted to say to this group? I'm sorry. I can't remember what it was. It was a message that I wanted to tell the advanced group. I'm going to have to pause and think what that message was because, okay, now I remember. You have to smudge every day. Really, and we have a number 6 for those of you who like that number. You have to smudge every day. That's the message because you're going to have to work on recycling every day. Every day that you come back from work, every day that you go out at all, you have to work on a recycling process where you are taking all of the evil eye from the day and putting it into a shredder and turning it into something else. You know, you have a little potion now. What kind of potion do you want? We took it all and turned it into a little potion. What do you want? What do you want? What do you do with the extra energy? You can either keep it in a cabinet and use it for something else later on. Sometimes there will be things, like I said, that will not want to be transmuted. And if you don't know what to do with it, if it doesn't want nothing to be done with it, you can just clear it. Incinerate it. So we incinerated that liquid. So every day, depending on what's going on, you can use different things for different things, you know? And it's all recycling. It's all recycling and simply giving people back whatever they tried to throw at you. Okay, now I'm done. Thanks so much for watching. All right, pile 3. Hello, hello. If you chose D's pile, this reading is for you. Let's mark you down at 4822. You chose turquoise. This pile, the reason why you were addicted for so long to your addiction of choice was because you love to do it socially. You love how it brings a sense of community, and it's confusing. It's so confusing how something that is so evil can give you so much pleasure. And this pile has a really hard time with that because, especially for people who had a difficult upbringing where you did not get emotional support or spiritual protection from your parents, you found family in codependent addictions because codependent addictions gathers people, you know? Like, what has happened to America where you go to the fentanyl streets and all those people are like a community? They're all like gathered together, you know, doing fentanyl together, you know? And it's like, how come you can't see that in the sober communities? Why are the sober communities so isolated from other collective in recovery? and that's just how the dynamic is. So that is what this pile misses. This pile misses the sense of community with getting together with people to drink and use. And that is still one of your weaknesses, where when someone offers you, you're just like, oh, I want to so bad, especially because everybody else is. But you have to stay true to yourself. You have to stay true to yourself when people are offering, and um sometimes people get offended whenever you don't want to partake, especially when it's champagne. Okay, well, if somebody wants to cheers with you, and hands you a glass, you just kiss it. You just do a little, you just do a little kiss. It's just, that is the way that my master does it, my Taoist master, because they are also put in situations where the community is there and everybody wants to do things together. They don't really have a spiritual understanding, and you don't want to offend anybody, or it's a wedding, or the family is there, or somebody says a prayer. So, what my Taoist master does is when he is handed a champagne glass, he just kind of, it's kind of like a little, I don't want to hurt no one's feelings, little kiss, and then you put it down, and nobody will attack you. Nobody will be, oh, why didn't you grab a glass? We said a prayer. You just give it a little kiss and you put it down. Okay? For whoever that's for, because I feel like there's someone here that might always deal with that. Like a promotion or an award, where let's say you are telling a speech and everybody is celebrating you, and they hand you something with the promotion. If you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, you just, give it a little mini kiss and then you put it down. And no one is going to attack you or say, oh, you don't want to finish it. And if you do have someone approach you, say, oh, how come you're not going to finish it, which is rare, if someone does that, it's not it's not going to be considered unpolite, because you grabbed it, and you clicked it with everybody else's glass and you just put it down. It's okay. It happens all the time where people just want to be polite, and they'll just cheers with people, and then they'll just put it down, like, okay, there's you guys just want to have fun. I get it. I don't want to offend anybody. So, for whoever's dealing with that, someone here might be 37 years old. We have Sacred Soul Sister. So it's important for this pile to stick with people who support your recovery. Talk with people who support your recovery. Hang out with people who support your recovery. It does not have to be a secret, because a lot of times when you are in recovery and you want to keep that a secret, it backfires, and it's important for people to know, oh, you're not partaking, you're not a drinker. You are contemplating the future right now. A lot of you are feeling like there's something missing from your life. You're going through a rebirth process, giving yourself a second chance. So a lot of you might be dealing with regret or guilt or shame, and it's important for you to transmute that. Guilt and shame. We did not agree to be born into a life. I know that we agreed on many things, right? But we didn't agree to have no privacy. The way the government is all up in our DNA and being invasive and augmenting our DNA. We did not consent to that. We consented to be born and have our rights be respected. So Your guilt and your shame really comes from this lower vibrational life. It's like the circumstances. Blame the circumstances. Don't beat yourself up because you were born into a difficult circumstance and now you're going to allow that false guilt and shame to eat you alive. No, you transmute it. You transmute it. You transmute the guilt and the shame. You can transmute it to zest, having a zest for life. You know what? No, I do not consent. I do not consent to guilt and shame. I consent to having a zest for life. Take a big bite out of life if you dare, because that's really what you want to do. That's all that you ever wanted to do. You didn't know that alcohol was bad and you had to learn the hard way. And now you want to take even a bigger bite of life. You took a bite out of life before when you didn't realize how lower vibrational alcohol really is. So now you have an opportunity, a second chance to take an even bigger bite out of life now that you have a sober mindset. Pay attention to what energizes you. What makes you happy? What energizes you? Pay attention to what that is because that is a clue. Every time you see something, whether it is an animal, a hobby, a crystal, what is it that when you see it, you just have to have it or you just have to assist it or something that you have a big collection of? Like, let's say you collect beads. You get happy every time you buy a bead. Well, maybe you should go into business selling beads and be surrounded in beads. You know what I mean? So there's this sense of you restricting yourself and being overly considerate and not wanting to step over anyone's toes, but there's no one's toes there. Only your toes. It's like you're not trying to step on your own toes because I honestly do not see anyone attacking you. Ever since you detoxed and quit your alcohol or drug of choice, your life has cleared itself of enemies and negative influences. For the most part, whenever you don't feel that way, whenever you do feel attacked, it's important to hang out with other people who are in recovery. But for the most part, I don't see a consistent attack. You know what I mean? Embrace partnership. A harmonious relationship creates joy. It's a bond free from attachments to power, bond, or status. Accept your friends and partners as they are. Release all judgment. So don't be so hard on your friends. Don't be so hard on your significant other. Don't judge them too hard. Some friends you can't cut off. You know, we all have those friends that they still use and we're not going to let them go. We're not going to give up on them. We're going to continue being their friends. And those, if you're going to choose them as friends, then choose them as friends and be there for them. You don't have to judge them. Just be there for them. You know, you either choose to be there for them when they're using, because it is difficult. I have a lot of friends that I cut off because they refused to quit drinking, but you know, I have one or two that still do, and I will always be their friend because we've been friends for so long. Okay, Then we have enacting new strategies. Where in your life does this little pile need to enact new strategies where in certain areas of your life, certain things are not working and you have to change something about it? Never ever employ tactics that have failed you once before. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. In procrastination, you forfeit your opportunities. When inspiration strikes, act decisively. Okay, so you're going to have an opportunity. You have a little rooster over here. You're going to have an opportunity to redo something or escape something or replace something. And whatever opportunity that is, it's showing up with a time tag or an expiration tag. So if you don't take advantage of it, you will lose it or someone else will take it. It could also be a job where a job that never is hiring that you've always wanted to work at is hiring now, and you have to act on it and be observant of your surroundings. I have to drink some water. Give me 1 second. Okay, where were we? Enacting new strategies. All right, let's keep going. So then we have thunder beings. You needing to be careful of what you're putting out there. What are you putting out there? What are you thinking? What are you honestly thinking? I can read your mind, and you're thinking you're not good enough. That's what you tell yourself. You're telling yourself, I'm not good enough. I can't do it. I can't do this anymore. I'm not good enough. I can't do this anymore. I'm going to quit. I'm going to give up. I can't do this anymore. Okay? So whenever you find yourself doing that, you exit out. You X, cancel, cancel, X, cancel, cancel, and you change it. I am fully capable. I am fully capable of doing the impossible. 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 Okay, Thunder Beings is about being careful not to throw negative spells towards yourself, because that is possible. We have Retilated quartz. Protecting yourself from yourself is what I'm feeling with this. And then we have striving for peace. Some of you might be 23 years old, and the biggest mission or goal that you need to have right now is to strive for peace in order to continue having the strength and will to be and stay in recovery. So let's read from the book for Retilated quartz. Vibrational healing, higher mind, reconciliation. You are subconsciously receiving loving vibrations and loving thoughts from someone connected to your past. An episode or conflict that hurt you emotionally is now being healed and reconciled by the power of forgiveness and unconditional love. Over the coming days, you may find yourself emotionally and mentally reciprocating this love as you reflect on a person or past event. So, for some of you in here, you're going to be reconciling with a past love or a past person or somebody that you had a breakup with, and it's coming out as a positive thing. And it also seems like for those of you who are having a reconciliation with somebody, that person is coming in wanting to be sober as well. So that's great. Let's go ahead and move on to the nature omens. What is your nature omen? That is too many. But I did see the link stick his head out trying to tell you that you need to figure out where it is safe for you to play. Because if you don't play, you're not going to be happy, but you have to know where it's safe to play and play there. That is what the link wanted to share by simply showing up and then going back in. So your nature omen, we have the plankton. I really love Plankton. This is one of my favorite cards. I have a lot of favorites because this is a pretty thick deck and I'm already thinking about volume 2. But you got the Plankton and I love the Plankton. I will cry when I meditate over the Plankton. Whenever I feel, I don't want to say low because sometimes it feels good to feel low. I don't know if there's anybody else out there that feels that way, but sometimes I get pleasure from feeling low. I like to feel low because I like to start from the bottom. I like to be uprooted and start from the bottom, and the bottom emotions are lower, and I like to feel them and work my way up. And whenever this happens to me, it will usually be lit by a disappointment, ego, right? An ego bruise. It will happen about maybe once every 3 months. I'll feel really low and I'll turn off all my lights. I'll turn off all the electronics and I will just be in complete darkness. And I will just imagine being in this dark sea of pitch black mystery and iridescence, and I become the plankton. And I think this is what this message is trying to tell you is whenever you feel low, become the plankton. Become nothing. There's something that comes from that. It's something. When we're in something, we are in danger of losing that something and ending up with nothing. But when we are in nothing, we are in danger of gaining something. So being in nothing is a good position. It's like being at rock bottom. When you're at rock bottom, there's only one way that you can go, and that's up. Because as an addict, you know that if you go further down, that's going to be an overdose and that's going to be death for you. So, really, there's only one way that you can go, and that is up. So, if you're feeling low, think about the plankton. The plankton will allow you to feel nothingness. You shapeshift into a plankton in the deep ocean, and nobody pays attention to you. You're invisible in the darkness of the ocean. Plankton doesn't really have much of an attacker. Usually there's fish that want to eat smaller fish. But for the most part, not to say that there aren't animals that eat plankton, but what does the plankton represent? There is power in the plankton, even though it is small and minuscule or irrelevant. Who is to say? Who is to say that the plankton is irrelevant? Plankton is actually so small yet necessary in the natural ecosystem of life. So even something as small and insignificant as a plankton floating in the deep sea, I don't know why I said floating. They don't really float. You can't float underwater. You know what I mean. just gliding and existing in a huge amount of nothingness. There is no amount. You cannot say how big the ocean is. There's no, it is a big portal. It is a portal of mystery and timelessness. And when you embody and become plankton, plankton humbles you and reminds you of how insignificant we are. We're so insignificant in when you compare the size, we're so insignificant. But at the same time, we are not. We are insignificant, but we are not. We have a place, a position. And that insignificance is what humbles you. And usually that comes with a lot of tears when you are meditating in nothingness. But then through the nothingness, through the insignificance, you reach the glory of purpose. And that is when you know, when you're done with the plankton meditation, is when you reached the glory of your purpose, even if you don't know what that is. Just because you reach it doesn't mean that you are not complete because you don't know what the purpose is. Just the purpose in itself. The purpose is changeable. You can change that purpose at any given moment. It's a knob. So it's a glorious purpose in the shape of a knob that you can adjust at any given moment. And for those of you who do know what your purpose is, it's the glorious purpose that is your personal purpose. Okay? And then we have free yourself from pain. With the color red, having love for yourself, giving yourself the allowance, allowing yourself to receive the love that you have been blocking. Thank you so much for watching. Hi, pile 4. Let's go ahead and move on to our last pile. If you chose the orange highlighter, this is your pile. Let's see, should we start from the bottom? Let's start from the bottom. Okay, so we have 16 from nothing to everything. Star Mother. For those of you who feel like you don't have a positive mother role model in your life, you have cosmic mothers that want to tell you that you have cosmic mothers. There's this collective cosmic mother, collective cosmic father that can nurture the orphans in the collective. Because I have that own issue where, I did not have my parents emotionally be there for me or spiritually protect me. So then I'll go into trauma, I'll cry, and then my positive guides will say, no, no, no. You're not going to cry because you had lousy parents this one lifetime when you had hundreds and thousands of amazing parents in other lifetimes that create this collective layer of unconditional love that supports you, even if they are not reincarnated in this physical life, that you can tap into and be empowered by. I am empowered by my cosmic fathers and mothers. I am empowered by my cosmic grandmothers. I am empowered by my cosmic grandfathers. And you see those layers of power come over you. And you see how ridiculous it is to be in a position of self-pity. The self, gathering your power. You have a lot of sexual power that somebody tried to take away from you. Be present. You are crying over spilt milk. You are saying, I coulda, woulda, shoulda, trying to highlight all of the errors in your life as opposed to seeing your errors as stepping stones, your errors, your mistakes, your lessons, your realizations, your consequences. All those are stepping stones. Those all, when you put them together, create stairs. Charge forward. Do not allow life's difficulties and challenges to confuse or delay you. Lead your team confidently and don't look back. Things are in your favor. If you are a mother or a father, move, charge forward and move your army, move your tribe. Watch your back. Be aware of kind gestures, sweet intents, and flattering words. Draw a line between jealousy and admiration. Watch those who are seemingly threatened or bothered by you. Reflect internally as well. Unfortunately, we live in a world that is full of haters and trolls, okay? And that includes people in recovery. People who are not in recovery will envy people who are in recovery. People who do not have the courage to change, do not have the courage to put down the substance or to put down the bottle. They will send evil eye to people in recovery to make people in recovery relapse. It is a real thing. It is a curse. It is witchcraft. It is sorcery. You have to watch your back from people who want to see you relapse. Be aware of hidden enemies that will smile to your face and hug you. But as soon as you turn around, they're sending you an energetic sword that will make you relapse. And if your energy is lower than theirs at that second, it will harm you. That's why it's so important to gather your power and stay armed with a full body of God's armor at all times. And if you're not in that mentality, then don't go out. And if you can't help going out, then wear crystals, but you can't just let it go. You cannot just let it go because the spiritual war that we go through every single day is immense. And the higher vibrational you are, the more you will be opposed in your recovery, in your progress. Because the opposing force does not want to see you progress, right? Ponder what you want. Don't view rejection or uncertainty as negative. Timing may not be in alignment with your desires. Consider that you may have more to learn before your desires are fulfilled. Step back and consider what you truly want. This may be a chance for an optimal turn of events. So do not be upset or irritated by delays or rain checks or reroutes or U-turns or detours of any kind. Because those detours are blessings in disguise so that you go to the right destination. There's a supernatural force that protects those people who have integrity. Okay? And a lot of times, this pile, or people in general, know they have that integrity. They know they have a gift. And get their feelings hurt because their plan didn't go as planned. So then they feel forsaken. No, you're not being forsaken. You're being protected. Can you imagine if you ended up with the people that you dated? Like when you look back at all the people that you dated, all the demons that you dated and considered, and you think, oh my God, what if I would have stayed with them? Back then, you wanted to be with them because you were under a spell, or you were possessed, or you were drinking. So the drinking lowers your vibration. So you date lower vibrational people. So you were probably drinking and dating demons. Can you imagine if you would have stayed with those people? How much they would have destroyed your life. So my point was, if you are rejected, or there's a breakup or uncertainty or any kind of detour, it's a blessing in disguise. It's a supernatural protective force, perhaps your cosmic positive guides saying, no, you're going to detour to your proper destination that is going to be aligned with where you are in your recovery now, not where your ego wants to go. Our egos want to go A, but our highest good is supposed to go B. You know what I mean? Replacing all of your fears with unconditional love. So all of your fears are all negative agendas. They're all negative agendas. They're all negative cords. They're all negative chords, and you just replace that. You replace it with unconditional love, which is what was supposed to be there in the beginning. You never consented. You never consented to all these fears. All these fears were just negative agendas. What is there for you to fear? What is there for you to fear? Your own power, your own potential to go from nothing to something, from scraps to riches. The only thing that you should be afraid of is everything that you're capable of. Needing to protect yourself. Jasper boomerangs negative energy, deflects it back, returns it back to sender. What is it that you need to protect yourself from? Giving your power away sexually? Your sexual power needs to be protected. Give me 1 second. Okay. It does not matter if you are a male or a female. When you have sexual relations with somebody, whether that is physical or in the 5D, that person stays in your auric field for about 8 months. Okay? So whether you are male or female, you need to preserve, research Taoist sperm retention, preserve your chi, preserve your life force. And for women, don't just sleep with anybody, because you lose something when you're with the wrong people. Jasper read. Oh, let's read from the book. To make sure that you get all the messages that you need to hear, pile 4. Oh, I just saw it. Okay, I guess not. Nurture, care, protection, energy, flow, life force. Exactly. I just said that. You may soon find yourself drawn into a situation in which you feel compelled to care for and protect someone who is in need of help. This may be a person or a pet that has recently suffered some kind of trauma and is suffering from anxiety or depression. Your love and attention will help them heal. Simultaneously, you will subconsciously heal an aspect of yourself that is also yearning to be nurtured. You will heal an emotional trauma you experienced in the past, possibly in your childhood, or it may even stem from a past life. There's no need to recollect the past or try to figure anything out. Exactly. We're just talking about being present. There's no need to try to figure out anything. There's no need to cry over spilt milk. Remember that we each mirror one another, and self healing automatically occurs when we care for another's needs. Trust in the healing power of love. If you get tempted to feel hatred, because all of these are all programs and agendas that we have to break, okay? And if you get tempted to hate, because we as humanity have to overcome our lower mind characteristics, and everybody has weaknesses and strengths. For this pile, if you have any kind of hatred trying to tempt its way into your life, be dismissing of it. Just dismiss it. Try to be very dismissing of it. If you think too much at the wrong time about the wrong things, you make them grow. So if you're picking up shady vibes from people, catch them and dismiss them as opposed to letting the anger linger. Do you know what I mean? That's very important for you to remember. Don't let the anger linger. Like if somebody comes at you attacking you, whether it's energetically or verbal, don't get angry. No. Instead, say, I don't have time for this. I'm cutting you off. I'm dismissing you. I am pushing you the away. And it's very important for you to socialize during this time, network during this time. You got a lot of crystal cards. You got the most crystal cards out of anyone, and I'm going to read them all for you. Concentration, psychic protection, emotional stability. Fluorite emanates highly spiritual vibrations that can shield you from any negative influence or negative person that is causing you to be emotionally imbalanced. Aha! We were just talking about catching and dismissing it every single day. Catching and dismissing it, catching it, dismissing it. Avoiding the individual that is triggering you. Let's say you work together. If you see that person headed anywhere near you, go to the other side of the building. If you see that person going near you towards the building, go to the parking lot. If you see that person coming towards you towards the parking lot, go to the office. Avoid this negative person that is in your life because they're infused by the opposing force will use people to hurt you. And there's this individual that the opposing force is using to make you tumble, and you cannot fall for it. Let go of your fears and concerns and allow this beautiful healing to occur within your recovery and detox process. Start to focus on allowing these wondrous healings to, I already said that. Stop worrying what other people think about you. You are safe and eternally loved, and nothing can harm you except for your own fears. So, where you are in your recovery, is not caring what people think. What can you do? What can you work on so that you no longer care what people think? While at the same time still being the social butterfly that you are with the right people. There are some of you in here who are being targeted at work by a group of people, and the group of people want you to not be the special person that you are. So they're creating like some isolation, or they're trying to trigger you to make you question yourself. Don't fall for it, okay? Don't fall for it. Just dismiss it. When you come close to them, say, I don't consent to you. I do not consent to you. All that evil eye and hatred and envy, I return it back to you. All those evil shards, I return them back to you. And you can just say that in your mind every time you're around them. I do not consent. Any time that you even say or think about me, I send all that back to you. Okay? You can also imagine binding the attacker so that no evil eye can even reach you, so it just stays in their space. So kind of making like a cocoon around them, where any evil thought that they have when they look at you stays in their space. So it just stays in their cocoon that you kind of made for them. And every day that you see them, you imagine them being infested with a cocoon that is getting thicker and thicker and is growing mold and spider webs, and you can actually see the mold grow on their cocoon. And that mold is there because of the evil eye that they try to throw at you, that after you cocoon them energetically, their own evil eye is rotting their own cocoon. Okay? You are feeling like you are between worlds. Some of you are feeling like you want to leave Earth. And let's go back to the book. What you need to work on: self-confidence, creativity, expanding your awareness, believing in yourself, for you have the ability to materialize your dreams. Throughout the coming months, you will begin to expand your horizons and explore new possibilities for your life. You will realize that all you need in order to manifest your dreams is self-confidence. Self-confidence also makes you extremely sexy to whoever you are interested in being with in long term, in a serious long term relationship. Believe in yourself and do not let anything stand in your way. Even if you are rejected, do not give up, for even rejection can serve to strengthen your resolve and character, provided you are ready for it. Whenever you are rejected, I like to transmute that to motivation. And I like to have anger join as well. So we have anger here, and we have lack of motivation. And you just roll it like a dough. You can even pin it, roll it back into a ball because there's two of them. And we're turning the lack of motivation and the anger. The anger makes it really, the anger makes it grow. The anger is like yeast to this dough. We already have lack of confidence, and then the anger becomes like a yeast, and then you have like a big dough. And we turn that to self confidence. And now we have a big ball of self confidence, and you can just put that in your gene then, turn it to gold. And we have self confidence. Anger and lack of motivation have now been transmuted to self confidence and motivation. You get a rejection letter, you get an email that says that you've been rejected. Use that as a motivation. So let's say you're looking for a job, and the job that you really wanted rejected you. Instead of crying about it and saying, I'm going to give up, I don't want to do this anymore, use that rejection as a propeller to apply at 5 places now. Now you're going to take that anger, because anger is actually like an energetic yeast. Anger is not counterproductive. It can be used like putty. It is like putty. It is like hot wax. You can use anger to create a positive frequency, such as a motivator. And now you have a motivator. Your anger has motivated you. Anger can also spark energy. So if your energetic motor is feeling kind of low and there's nobody around to let you borrow some cables, you get some anger. You get some anger in those fingertips. It's really easy to get anger. You're like, this is anger, and this builds this electricity. And you make that motivation, you make that caffeine. You don't have no coffee in your kitchen, and you really need some energy. Think of some anger and you transmute it immediately into your fingertips. And now we have caffeine, and now we have motivation. You don't want that much, because then it turns into panic. You don't want to go into a panic mode. You could turn that to chamomile. Let's turn that to chamomile. Turn the anger to chamomile. Turn the anger to chamomile. We have nature omens. What are the nature omens for pile 4? What is the nature omen for you? The nature omen for pile 4, we have the beautiful hummingbird. Your omen is a hummingbird. Let me take a look at other cards just to see if there's something I can add. Being between worlds. Being between worlds, and the hummingbird is like, you identify the evil in the world and you want nothing to do with it. You want to leave this world. That in itself is a breakthrough. And oh my Lord, have mercy. We have a little mini hummingbird here that I never noticed. Do you see the little hummingbird? I never noticed it. So even when you feel alone in this world, there's a hummingbird in your life that is watching your back. Say, you know what? There's this evil in this world. I'm going to watch your back for you. So you might have somebody in your life in the 5D that is protecting over you, whether it's a positive guide, a 5D lover, an ancestor. There's a supernatural force that is watching your back as you are moving forward in your life, and you're ready to turn your back completely to this evil nonsense. And that is all that you're thriving for right now. see if there's anything else that needs to be said. Keep your vibration as high as possible. And turn it down if your hormones, because negative things will infiltrate anything. They will infiltrate your digestive system. They will infiltrate food. They will infiltrate your hormones. So if you're feeling like your hormones are too, and your libido is too high, turn it into a knob. Turn your hormones into a knob. Turn your libido into a knob and crank it down. Okay? Or at least neutralize it, because sometimes the knobs will only go up to neutral depending on what it is that you're trying to turn. Okay, and last but not least, let's do what color does this pile orange need to incorporate more in their life. What color? Oh, okay, let me go get that. Oh, we have Rose attracting a relationship. Okay, so you are ready to be in a relationship with somebody else that is sober. It's important for there to be union amongst power couples, especially in the recovery community, because the times that we are in, it's not the time to be alone. There's a time and place for everything, and these are not the times to be alone. So if you can get married or you are married, that is a blessing, and you need to protect that. It's very important for people in recovery to find their person so that they can serve as a power couple within the recovery community. Thank you so much for watching. It was an honor to read for you. Till next time.